Tappei has just released Arc 7 Chapter 44, and this video will be a summary of the chapter. I highly recommend you check out my Arc 7 Chapter 43 summary. Anyways, let's begin. The chapter begins with Subaru's confusion. After all, through some process, without realizing it, Subaru died. It was decided that no party be harmed, yet as Subaru and the group stepped out of the inn to find Olbart for the second time, Subaru's vision went dark and he ended back in the inn. Abel jumped in and asked that Olbart and him would be on the same page, again highlighting the conditions that both groups need to abide by, whilst once again stating that hide and seek is what they want to play. Like last time, 3 conditions were highlighted with no differences. Subaru asked whether or not Olbart would attack them during hide and seek, but Olbart brushes off Subaru's concern. Subaru of course couldn't 100% believe Olbart. After all, he did just return by death, and the only culprit was the old man in front of him. Olbart states he's suspicious considering the looks he's getting, and Al states that Olbart is in no position to be trusted. Olbart states that Al is as cold as he was 8 years ago when they were friends. Abel, however, states that Olbart shouldn't hide in locations they cannot physically reach. This was something Subaru mentioned last time, and just like last time, Olbart stated that they don't need to tell him that as he wouldn't have done that anyway. Like last time, Olbart gives the same hint for the first location. Tarita was losing confidence, however the one difference was that Subaru felt dizzy and Al asked if everything was okay. Al followed up that Medium and Al lost their abilities to use their weapons, but Subaru, despite being shrunk, was still the same since he could still use his ability, which was his intelligence. Medium also agreed with Aldebaran. Subaru reflected and agreed. Subaru wasn't physically useful after all, so he needed to drag himself out of this mental decline and use his intelligence. Subaru noticed Abel staring at him and mentioned that he doesn't need to stare at him like that as the mask's cognitive inhibition effect is enough. Abel commented that he's shocked that Subaru is aware of what the mask's purpose is for. Al asks if anyone knows where Olbart is, and Subaru states he has an idea, but there may be another issue that they need to look at, such as Olbart attacking them. However, Abel states that won't happen, and it's impossible as there's nothing from Olbart to gain from it. Subaru stated that Abel was wrong about Olbart's desires before. However, Abel states regardless, Olbart would want any information Abel has about the protection of the Yang Sword's flame, that he wouldn't actually then go out and break the conditions to harm Subaru and his group. Al agrees with Abel, but of course Subaru is aware that Olbart has already killed them before. However, it made no sense why Subaru was killed the second he left the inn. After all, if Olbart wanted to kill them, why would he leave the inn and not just kill them inside the inn? Maybe Olbart wanted to surprise Subaru and the rest and see them despair. However, again, it didn't really make any sense. Medium asked if Subaru was scared of going outside. Medium leaned into Subaru's face, startling him. But as Subaru tried to back off, Medium grabbed Subaru's head and pulled his head close to her chest and rubbed the back of his head, comforting him. Subaru states how he's had others do the same for him, and then states he feels like something dangerous will happen outside. Subaru further states that someone is trying to kill them, and continues by stating if they go outside, they'll die. But as he said that word, the world itself froze. With that, the colours of the world were frozen. Medium's voice grew distant. Time itself froze. A black shadow approached him and approached his chest, towards his heart. He heard the utterances of, "I love you." With that, his heart was gripped and Subaru was in pain. The next second, Medium asked if Subaru was okay. Subaru once again touched the taboo of return by death. Anything he says which may even bring up the topic will trigger the Witch of Envy. Subaru looked around, seeing that the witch did not crush the heart of anyone else. Subaru thanks Medium, but Medium states that Subaru looks like he's in even more pain now, but Subaru brushes it off. With that, Medium lets go of Subaru. It was nice of her to be concerned, but now wasn't the time for it, as Subaru thought about it. Again though, Subaru states it's dangerous outside. Abel, however, states that if they don't go for Olbart, they'll have to cancel their meeting with Yorna, and the only thing they would have obtained by coming to Chaos Flame is shrinking. However, Al looks on the upside, stating that some people might have wanted to be returned to a kid state. Subaru states that he doesn't want to throw the game of hide and seek, it's just that it's dangerous outside, and that if Subaru says something strange, Abel needs to believe him. Abel looked at him in silence. However, Al also had a look of confusion. Tarita states it's no harm in listening to Subaru and raising their guard. After all, they're in enemy territory. Subaru states he'll show some proof to Abel by showing where Olbart is hiding. However, Abel states that Subaru will have to find Olbart anyway, so it isn't really a good point of negotiation. Al, however, sided with Subaru, stating that Subaru said something really outlandish. However, Subaru does deserve that credibility. The reason Subaru is there is so that they can trust his word, and Abel needs to trust him. As the room got tense, with Abel and Subaru and Al confronting each other, Subaru broke it up, and instead focused on where Olbart was hiding, and with that, the scene changed. The scene immediately changes to Olbart jumping out of the window like last time, with Al praising that Subaru knew where Olbart was. The group again discussed what the new hint means. Subaru sped ran the conversation by asking if Abel wanted to go to a place where people came and went, such as a bar, and Abel was surprised at this. However, before leaving, Abel stated they should leave from the back door instead. Medium asked if he believed Subaru now. However, Abel said it was something to think about. Despite Abel's haughty attitude, it seems like he was taking it seriously. Al asked Subaru how he knew where Olbart was. It was almost as if Subaru had a strategy guide. However, Subaru said he just had experience with hide and seek. Subaru thought of thinking up the experience which led up to him realizing where Olbart was. But Aldebaran preempted him, asking if Subaru forgot, with Den stating that it wasn't Emilia, but rather the lolly that's always with Subaru. This shocked Subaru as Al guessed the reason. After all, Beatrice pranked Subaru the first time they met. However, Subaru and Al were called by Tarita, who stated they were surrounded by at least 100 people. With that, the chapter ends. So yeah, a very, very interesting chapter. By the way, Al didn't call Emilia by her name. I just called her Emilia for the sake of recording. He called her a silver-haired woman and called Beatrice the lolly. But it seems weird. I've been seeing discussions about this as well, that Subaru seems to have forgotten that the reason why he realized where Olbart was because he was pranked by Beatrice the first time he went to the Roswell Manor. Yet in this loop, he seems to have forgotten that because he was trying to think of the reason why he knew where Olbart was. So I'm not too sure what that's about. I know some people are speculating that it's Al's territory, messing with his memories. Again, it's pretty strange. Anyway, they're surrounded by 100 people. I have no clue who this is. It's obviously not Olbart. It can't be Todd, because we know from the Todd side story, Todd went to the capital city of Valakia to meet with Katya. So I'm not too sure who it is. Again, the only person I can think of is Kahuma, the plant guy. So I have no clue what's going on. Again, I feel like Abel will clock on that Subaru has some sort of powers soon. I feel like Abel will mistake Subaru for a stargazer, so someone who can tell the future. So I'm looking forward to that, because Subaru was surprising Abel quite a lot in this chapter by like knowing what his mask did, knowing where Olbart was, knowing where Abel wanted to go, which was a pub, stuff like that. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll speak to you guys next time.